So, what actually makes soil alive? Well, it's a pretty simple concept, but it's one that changes everything about the way we garden. Soil isn't just a lifeless mix of minerals, it's a living, breathing ecosystem, packed with microscopic organisms that work together to support healthy plants. Hey there, EcoCrop Chronicles family. Have you ever stopped to wonder why some gardens seem to practically explode with life while others struggle despite all the fertilizer you throw at them? Here's the truth that changed everything for me. Your soil isn't just dirt. It's not an inert growing medium that simply holds your plants upright. Your soil is alive, genuinely, vibrantly alive, teeming with more life forms in a single handful than there are people on our entire planet. When I first learned this, it completely transformed how I approached my garden, and I know it's going to change your gardening game too. We're about to dive deep into what makes soil truly living, and more importantly, how you can work with this invisible ecosystem to grow the most productive, resilient garden you've ever had. Trust me, once you understand the life pulsing through your soil, you'll never look at your garden beds the same way again. The living soil ecosystem is honestly so much more than just dirt. Let me paint you a picture that genuinely blew my mind when I first understood it. Right now, beneath your feet, there's an entire world operating at a scale we can barely comprehend. In just 1 teaspoon of healthy garden soil, you'll find somewhere between 100 million and 1 billion bacteria. That's not a typo. We're talking about more individual organisms in a teaspoon than there are people in the United States. All living, breathing, eating, reproducing, and working in an incredibly complex web of interactions. Add to that several yards of fungal threads called hyphae A, thousands of protozoa, dozens of beneficial nematodes, and countless other microorganisms, and you begin to realize that your garden soil is less like a substance and more like a rainforest, just operating at a microscopic scale. What truly makes soil alive isn't just the presence of these organisms though. It's the dynamic relationships between them, the constant exchange of nutrients and energy, the chemical communications happening every microsecond. Living soil is engaged in processes that dead or degraded soil simply cannot perform. Think about it this way: you could take sterilized sand, add all the chemical nutrients plants need in perfect proportions, and technically grow a plant in it. Hydroponic systems do essentially this. But the plant will never achieve the same resilience, disease resistance, or nutritional density as a plant grown in truly living soil. Why? Because living soil doesn't just hold nutrients, it creates them, cycles them, protects them, and delivers them to plants in precisely the forms and timing that plants have evolved to receive them over millions of years. The soil food web is what scientists call this intricate network of organisms that includes bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, microarthropods, and earthworms, all feeding on each other and on organic matter in a cascade of interactions. Here's where it gets really interesting for us as gardeners. Every time a larger organism eats a smaller one, nutrients are released. When a protozoa consumes bacteria, for instance, it releases excess nitrogen that plants can immediately absorb. This means that living soil is constantly generating plant-available nutrients through biological processes, creating a slow, steady stream of nutrition that synthetic fertilizers can never replicate. This is the fundamental difference between feeding your plants and feeding your soil. When you feed the soil life, they feed your plants for you, and they do it with a sophistication that makes our best agricultural science look primitive by comparison. Let's get to know the main characters in this underground drama, starting with bacteria. These single-celled organisms are the workforce of your soil, present in absolutely staggering numbers and incredible diversity. Some bacteria specialize in decomposing fresh organic matter, breaking down everything from fallen leaves to dead roots into simpler compounds. Others focus on specific elements. The nitrogen-fixing bacteria, for instance, have the remarkable ability to pull nitrogen gas right out of the air spaces in your soil and convert it into ammonia that plants can use. This is genuinely magical when you think about it. These microscopic organisms are taking an element that's everywhere around us, but completely inaccessible to plants, and transforming it into the very foundation of plant proteins, chlorophyll, and growth. Every time you see dark green, vigorous foliage in your garden, thank the nitrogen-fixing bacteria working overtime in your soil. Then we have the fungi, and these organisms deserve special attention because they're absolutely critical to long-term soil health and plant vitality. Fungal hyphae are like these microscopic threads that grow through soil, branching and rebranching to create networks that can extend for miles in a single cubic foot of earth. These networks serve as highways, moving water and nutrients across distances that plant roots could never reach on their own. But, the real stars of the fungal world are the mycorrhizal fungi, which form partnerships with plant roots so intimate and beneficial that most plants literally cannot thrive without them. These fungi colonize plant roots, sending their hyphae out into the surrounding soil to gather phosphorus, nitrogen, micronutrients, and water. In exchange, the plant provides the fungi with sugars from photosynthesis. This isn't optional cooperation, it's a partnership that evolved over 400 million years, and it's so fundamental that approximately 90% of all plant species depend on mycorrhizal relationships to survive. Let me tell you about the real-world differences you'll notice when you shift to managing your garden as a living ecosystem rather than an inert growing medium. First and most obvious is the reduction in fertilizer needs. My first few years gardening, I followed conventional advice and applied granular fertilizer multiple times throughout the growing season, always worried I wasn't giving my plants enough nutrition. Now, in beds with thriving soil life, I add compost twice a year and occasionally use organic amendments like rock dust or kelp meal, and my plants are more vigorous than they ever were under the high fertilizer regime. This isn't just saving me money, it's actually producing healthier plants because the nutrition they receive from soil organisms is balanced and complete in ways that simplified NPK fertilizers can never match. The disease and pest resistance that comes from living soil has been perhaps the most dramatic change in my garden. Plants growing in biologically active soil have significantly stronger immune systems, essentially because the beneficial microorganisms colonizing their roots trigger defense responses and produce antibiotics that suppress pathogens before they can establish. I used to battle fungal diseases like powdery mildew and early blight every season, spraying organic fungicides weekly, just to keep plants alive. In beds with robust soil biology, these diseases still show up occasionally, but they never develop into the catastrophic infections I used to experience. The plants simply shrug them off, staying productive throughout the season. Similarly, pest pressure has decreased noticeably because healthy plants with access to complete nutrition produce defensive compounds that deter insects and recover quickly from the damage that does occur. So, here's my challenge to you, Eco-Crop Chronicles community. Choose one practice from what we've discussed today and implement it in your garden this season. Maybe you'll start composting if you haven't already. Maybe you'll commit to keeping your beds mulched throughout the year. Maybe you'll transition one bed to no-till management and observe how it compares to your conventionally managed beds. Whatever you choose, you're beginning the journey toward truly living soil, and I promise you'll be amazed by the results. If you found this guide valuable, please subscribe to Eco-Crop Chronicles so you never miss our deep dives into the practices that create abundant, resilient gardens. Share this video with a gardening friend who's ready to transform their soil from dirt into a living ecosystem. Drop a comment below telling us what you're going to try first. I read every single comment and love hearing about your gardening journeys. Together, we're building a community of gardeners who understand that the secret to extraordinary gardens isn't found in a bag of fertilizer, but in the invisible life thriving right beneath our feet. Let's get growing.